Hello, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of SW Golf Academy. Today, why keeping your arms straight through impact is the key to a great golf swing, or at least a very big key. We'll look at 3 reasons why, and we'll give you 2 drills to help you work on it.
Very briefly, so you can see it, this is Adam Scott, premier ball striker, hitting a short iron. You can see those arms as he hits it are very stable and straight. Now, at impact, that trail arm is a little tilted under, and there's a tiny bit of bend in it. We'll get into that more as the video goes, but round numbers, both arms are straight there as he hits the ball.
Okay. 3 reasons it's important to have your arms straight through impact. Number 1, it's the radius of your golf swing. If your arms are in flux, if they're breaking down, the radius or the width of your swing is changing. Not easy to find solid contact when you do that. Number 2, and by the way, the trail arm isn't completely straight at impact. We'll talk about that a bit later in the in the video. Number 2 reason, you can apply pressure to the golf ball much more effectively when your arms are stable and solid. You try that. Put it up against a bucket or something, put a club there, push against it, and you see how much more effectively you can apply pressure when your arms are firm and straight like that versus when they're bent. And the final reason, people often don't think about this, but usually if the arms are more stable and firm, it sort of forces you to use your body and your core more. When they get in flux and whipping around and unstable, generally you don't need as much body. You should have body, but generally you don't need it, and you see people whip it through without using their torso in a dynamic way. So let's get into this. Let's see if we can help you out. Very briefly before we get into it, a lot of times people will work on something. In this case, we're talking about why it's so important to keep your arms straight at impact for a great golf swing. A lot of times people will work on that, but they have something that's inhibiting their ability to do that. So 2 quickies on my list. Number 1 would be steepness of downswing plane, not coming from a decent angle of attack. If you do that, you're probably going to chop into the ground too much, and most people will bend their arms and shorten their radius a bit through the ball. It is possible to straighten up and keep your arms straight. Which of those options is the best one? But generally, steepness leads to a breakdown in the arms. And the other one is when the club face gets pretty open in the downswing or aimed to the right, and the golfer doesn't have a grip that makes it easy to square it up. They will start to flash the club a little bit and start to rip it this way, instinctively trying to get the face square, and that usually causes a breakdown of the arms. Okay, enough said. Let's get into our material here. So our 2 drills coming up next. Just very briefly, let's touch on this trail arm. Is it completely straight at impact, or should it be? No, it shouldn't be completely straight. That would happen maybe in this area, a foot or 2 beyond the ball. That is to say, both arms straight, club pointed maybe between my arms. At impact, there's still a bit of forward lean, but it's close to straight, and it is still applying pressure. That's going to be our first drill here in just a second. One you can do, by the way, without a golf club at home. So at impact, there's still pressure. The space between the arms is minimal. It's close to straight, but there is some bend in the back of that trail wrist in a good impact. Let's get to our first drill then. Find something firm, a wall. I'm using the cooler of the golf cart. Take that trail hand, put it about where an impact would be, and push against this. Now, 2 things you'll notice. These are subtleties, but the more your arm is bent in this way, the harder you can push. The more it's bent out, not as effective. When you bend it this way, a little bend in that wrist, and you're going to find with a club face, when you get your arm more here, you're going to have to rotate that slightly. So right arm, trail arm under can apply pressure, rotate the palm against that. That's the sort of feeling you want, never this sort of a look. So let's work on that a little bit. Now, the title of this video again, why keeping your arms straight through impact is the key to a great golf swing. That's a simple title, but if you're really, and it's true, but if you're really going to get good at something like what we just talked about by the golf cart over there, you've got to have an open mind to be a little bit more engaged and get some details. So let's feel that. I'm feeling that right arm under. Mine won't be this much under when I hit, but I'm feeling that, feeling the pressure there. When I get that feeling, I'm going to make a small swing and really try for that feeling right there, like so. Like anything else, you have to get a sense of you have to understand what you're trying to do. Your body may be a little different to mine. It may not rotate as much. Find out against the wall, come over here and experiment, and then you have to put a little bit of time in on a scale that you can do it, and then ramp it up. I know I say that in my videos a bit if you've ever watched my videos, but it's true. There's no freebies. And then the other drill I think that you'll find will be helpful is the hit and hold drill, which I slightly did there. And that is to say, if you take it maybe half to 3/4 of the way back and you give it a good firm strike and you put the brakes on and you can hold the club just a foot or so after contact, not only do you have to have good core motion and a handful of proverbial ducks in a row, but you have to have some firmness. If your arms are like that, no way you're doing that. So let's try a little shot along those lines. I'm going to get back to about there. That was a good one there. I strike that one with a nice firm look. Club's always going to release more at full speed than when you do these punch drills, so that's a little bit held off, but that is a great way to start to feel the firmness of impact. That shot probably went for me, as a guess, 90% of my normal distance for that club because the impact was so solid there. So work on these two drills, get that in there, practice some of these hit and holds, do it on scales, you can do it. You get this thing firmed up at impact, you will be on your way to much better ball striking.